what you Hoots are thinking. Hoots, why didn't you do this in Hoottober? You know, when the spooky months are. Well, first of all, the only 2 episodes released in October are the pilot, episode 1, released in October 26th, and the second one in October 31st. So yes, it would have been more appropriate. However, I wouldn't have even been able to do that except for the first episode, which, considering my track record with making Hoottober and how Hoottober was, probably wouldn't have been out until November. To which I was working on Hootsgiving. Then I got sick and I just Hoottober and Hootoween kind of took over. I decided here because I got the chance to watch the first 5 episodes. And if you want, I can discuss the final 3 episodes after the final episode is released, of course, on December 14th. But I'm gonna let some time pass to work on Hootmas and probably leave the last video talking about this season for December 31st. But that depends if you like this video. I do want to take this moment to issue a spoilers warning, as I will be discussing the plot. So if you don't want the episodes to be spoiled, I highly recommend watching them, whether it be on HBO or wherever you watch your episodes and whatnot. I can't tell you what to do. Also, something I should mention is that this is a prequel series, so if you're expecting these characters to make it out in the end, more than likely that's not going to be the case. Also, instead of going forward in time, since this is the generation before the Losers Club, it's going backwards. So, for instance, the Loser Club in this universe was 1989, then 2016, I believe. The last one, this season, it takes place in 1962, which coincides with the burning down of the Black Spot Club. Season 2 will take place in 1935, which was the events of the Bradley Gang shooting, where the entire city went berserk and started just gunning down people. Then 1908, with the horrific events of the Ironworks explosion during the Easter egg hunt. All 3 events were mentioned in the main book, but we actually get to see how the events play out. And I like how this series feels like it fits with the movies, where some series seem to lose that kind of tone or feeling that the movies had. But that's because Andy Muschietti is also directing this series as he did the movies, so that's why. Boy, this series does not drag its feet when it comes to messed up scenes. Let me tell you, we go from the first character we see, Maddie, getting chased out of a movie theater to being picked up by what seems like a perfect family, to the mom giving birth to a grotesque mutant baby monster, to Maddie's fate being a mystery until episode 5. I like how, despite the family seeming perfect at first, slowly you can see it start to turn darker until said mutant baby birthing. It's interesting that season 1 kind of shares the same parallels as the movie, where they're looking for one person and slowly they realize that that person is gone. And these characters unfortunately don't share the same plot armor as the Losers Club, so you'll probably guess what happens to them later on. And in the first freaking episode, not even kidding, despite all these characters sharing sort of similar characteristics with the lovable Losers Club, you do see what an encounter with it would have been like had Bill and the gang not had their plot armor or quick resources to use the power of friendship to ward off the evil Pennywise, or, well, it doesn't take on its more iconic Pennywise form until episode 5. So we get more of Pennywise using the town's fear against them, using chaos that's going on with the Cold War or racial tensions to fuel hatred and fear so he can, literally and metaphorically feed off of Derry. Heck, Pennywise doesn't even have to do anything. His influence causes the town to amplify their negative traits and really show the horrible people in town, or just blankets everything in this delusion that nothing is there and only the kids see what's really going on. Like the movies, the series follows different families trying to figure out what's going on. The Hanlon family, Lily Bainbridge, and the guilt she feels for inadvertently causing her dad to tragically die in a pickle factory incident. The Grogan family, who was working at the movie theater when Maddie ran away, whose father was pinned for the horrific events that will take place after episode 1, and a cast of characters that may or may not die during the season. I mean, it is a prequel series. I mean, Big Pennywise got to have them snacks before, he takes on the Losers Club. So I would take this with a Game of Thrones kind of thing. You like the characters, but you never know when Pennywise might come up and go, yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of Pennywise, you can definitely tell when a random person is influenced by Pennywise, or if they never existed and they're just like, you see a random guard just look at you and give a horrific grin with buck teeth, or some random character with like bug-eyed, it really shows Pennywise's influence on the townspeople of Derry, to where the events of the Bradley Gang massacre, different people described the same clown-like entity wearing different clothes and holding a different weapon, and it paints a picture that it wasn't only participating in the craziness of that, but each person described seeing a person wearing clown makeup, wearing regular clothes, and holding a different gun. So I think it's interesting how they might not be seeing Pennywise, but in fact, someone else influenced by him. Now, of course, with Muschietti's adaptation of it, there's of course going to be a lot of turtle references. There's a charm that Maddie gave to Lily, and it's said that that might be a protection over her from it, as Maturin as the counterbalance to it, the creator, to the destroyer, who actually created the universe when he got a little tummy ache and threw up the entire universe, where it exists in a plane not from ours, known as the Macroverse, and is powered by the Deadlights, which we perceive as 3 glowing lights, which turn blue and strobe around and stuff, and in the final form of the movie. But when you see it, you either die, go insane, or fall under its influence, or something like that. Either way, it's a nice way to include Maturin without all the cosmic turtle and throwing Bill's body into the ether and him mentally battling Pennywise and all that. Good touch. Speaking of the people of Derry, there's a lot of unsettling staring or glaring from the random people there. It really adds to the unsettling feeling that something is controlling them or bringing out that negativity. I also like the subtle hints and foreshadowing from some characters describing their fears and how Pennywise can use that against them. It's a really interesting thing to get you prepared for what's about to happen. Trust me, one of the characters, Marge, yeah, oh yeah, it's messed up. As the season goes on, we find out that more than just the kids know about it, but also the military, who found out that the people that lived there long before Derry was established used fragments from the meteor that it landed in to create a perimeter, keeping it trapped within the city of Derry, which explains why it hasn't escaped or gone to different places. I also like the many references to the other works of Stephen King. There's a character whom I'm gonna get a spoiler alert for those who are fans of Stephen King, that it's none other than Dick Halloran from The Shining, who uses his psychic power, or the shine, to locate the different pillars, or tries to. And it seems that episode 5 ends with it unlocking the lockbox and unleashing all of Halloran's most horrible memories. So we'll see how he goes from dealing with that and closing it before the events of The Shining. But since the series goes backwards, I hope it gets resolved before then. Which I still think it's interesting how they go backwards instead of forwards to show a reversed version of Derry's history. So we're going to see the Bradley Gang Massacre, then the Ironworks explosion. So it's interesting to see how the characters will move on, and will there be any survivors, or we'll be seeing a lot more snacks for Pennywise, if you know what I mean. Something I also hope is mentioned is the origins of Pennywise, or Bob Gray, his favorite form he takes, and why in particular he chooses that form. I mean, I know clowns are scary, but is it just the clown, or is Bob Gray the person that he named? Is that an actual person, or was that just a name he made up on the spot when he's like, "Hi, Georgie, I'm Mr. Bob Gray, but you can call me Pennywise." You know what I'm saying? I can't wait to see how the other 3 episodes play out, and I'm keeping my expectations low for any of the characters that are going up against it that aren't adults or kids to make it out alive, unless they're characters that make it later on in the series or survive, you know. Well, with that being said, this was my sort of discussion of the series so far. It's currently 5 a.m. and I I need to get me some sleep. So if you want a more detailed discussion of each episode, let me know. I might do them later on, or might not if this video doesn't do any good. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you've seen this series, what are you excited to see later on in the comments? Or if you haven't seen this series, check it out if you're a fan of Stephen King or Andy Muschietti's adaptation of It. And I'll see you for Hootmas, and when you visit the Owlery again, and I get my hoot in the dark. They all float. They all float down here. Hoo! That's right, it's me, Hootie Buys, or Pity Hoots, whatever I want to call myself. I wasn't Hoots. Okay, see you guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share with your fam, subscribe today and join the Parliament of Hoots. And let me know what you think of this episode in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my other social medias like Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and my PlayStation Network account. Don't forget to check out these 2 videos, it'll take you to more of my content, and I can't wait to see you for another Hootsgiving.